This is the Barbados Today morning news for Wednesday, September 25th. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary Claire Williams. Our top story, the Ministry of Health is defending its handling of the environmental concerns at the Sharon Primary School. That institution has been plagued with environmental issues for months, and health officials say they are linked to a small operation which involves spray painting near the school. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Kenneth George was one of the officials present last evening at a meeting between parents and education officials. He told reporters that his ministry has been transparent throughout the process.
The Ministry of Health is always willing to engage parents, but we must do it through the Ministry of Education. I think you could realize that. So that once we were told about this meeting today, we made ourselves available. We have done this before, and once we are informed, we will make ourselves available. The issue of trust was dealt with, and I think that was highly appropriate. We in the ministry have always been very truthful to the public. There is no collusion between the Ministry of Health and any business. When we closed Sheraton Center, you all said something different. When we banned the chicken wings, you all said something different. If the Ministry of Health has information that companies are breaching the Health Services Act, we will use our authority.
Dr. George added that a number of steps are now being taken to address the situation.
I think that we have come to a recognition that the environmental health still has a bit of work to do. That the business, that's one. The businesses have shown some evidence that they have made some improvements. That's two. The third thing is that we would encourage persons, particularly in the area, to be careful not to spray paint, etc. And the fourth thing is that schools need to be careful how they manage the chemicals that are on the school compound.
Local businessman Ralph Bizzy Williams has welcomed news of new rates to be paid to energy providers who sell power to the Barbados Light Power under a new feed-in tariff arrangement. The Fair Trading Commission handed down the decision on Tuesday. Officials say the FIT program will run from October 1st, 2019 to December 31st, 2021, or until the new limit runs out. Under the FIT program, individuals or businesses will be able to provide energy from solar, land-based wind and biogas, or anaerobic digestion and solid biomass. Williams, a leader in the renewable energy space in Barbados, thanked the FTC for completing the research and delivering a decision in less time than anticipated. He told Barbados Today the new rates are bankable and will result in additional investment. However, he said he is disappointed at the allocation of the megawatt size to the various categories for energy production. Williams says he would have liked twice the amount that they have been allocated. Meanwhile, the FTC is sticking to its decision that the Barbados Water Authority should not compensate customers for interruption of service. This means that customers should not expect financial compensation if the utility company breaches any of the guaranteed standards under the mandatory guaranteed and overall service metrics, which was implemented in January last year. The Director of Utility Regulation was responding to media reports relating to concerns by residents as a result of the FTC's suspension of the required compensatory payments under the Guaranteed Standards of Service policy.
One, when developing any type of policy, has to be cognizant of the environment in which they're acting. And as such, it was determined that Barbados Water Authority, given the financial predicament that it was in, was not in a position to be able to provide reimbursements to customers for failure to provide a certain level of service. That does not mean that Barbados Water Authority is not held accountable for that service and providing a certain level of service delivery. What we do not want to do is to impose a hardship on the utility such that it cannot meet or is even further burdened in meeting its obligations. So it is a balancing act that has to be struck, and it was determined at the time that they were not in a position to be able to offer, at least in the short term, to be able to offer consumers that were adversely impacted by a shortfall in their service delivery any compensation. And that continues at this time to be the position of the Commission.
Comptroller of Customs Owen Holder is moving to change the culture within the department. Addressing the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry's business luncheon, Holder said he is planning to introduce several new policies which will help shape the customs mode of operations.
There is always room for change. And in relation to what you going forward, what you have to do is to set parameters of how each officer will operate or is supposed to operate. Those parameters are the guidelines. You will let them communicate those parameters, those guidelines to the officers. And where any activity falls outside of that parameter, you will seek to take the necessary action to ensure that those persons come back within those parameters.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. In news from the region, Guyana's President David Granger is due to address the nation tonight on general elections. The address will come more than 9 months after his government fell in a no-confidence motion. As a result, the country was required to hold elections within 3 months. Granger has said he is awaiting advice from the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM. GECOM chairman gave that advice last Thursday, but Granger said he was waiting to discuss the letter with his cabinet before speaking publicly about it. On the international scene, U.S. Democrats have opened a formal impeachment inquiry into President Donald Trump over allegations that he sought help from a foreign power to damage a political rival. Top Democrat Nancy Pelosi said the president must be held accountable, but Trump has denied impropriety and called the efforts garbage. And that's news this morning, but for the very latest, visit our website www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook and sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.